making sure I'm showing up appropriately for all of you guys. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Brad. Good to see you again. I brought Christmas present for you guys back here. I don't know if you can see it. Hello, everybody. How are you guys anyway? There you go. You see why I have the 3-minute music in the background? Because literally my microphone stopped working. Thank God for background music, right? Hi, everybody. Thank you for just being patient with me while I set everything up. Thank you so much for my YouTube pay member. Agnes, hello, Andrea, Cynthia, and a lot of you guys who are my VIP member, which is really 90% of you guys who are here right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know I appreciate all of you guys, okay? Thank you so much for the coffee and the star. You guys know how I am. If you're in my coaching program, you know I live and preach about the STAR method all day long. Why? Because it has helped so many hundreds of people who are able to land a job offer from the starting of the pandemic. In fact, I've had my own business for a little bit over a year. I would say the amount of people I was able to help, and when I start talking about the STAR method, it worked. I should have done that a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't. So, if we're tuning in for the first time, my name is Holly. I am a career coach. My goal is to live stream twice a week, every Tuesday and every Friday for my paid YouTube community, which I do tutorials, LinkedIn review, reviewing your story, so on and so forth, to help you land a position, not just at Amazon, but at whatever company you choose. I just made a post this morning to clarify again because my buddies over at Facebook and I have friends who are, of course, still at my former company, which is Google, were asking, "Hey, Holly, when can you start talking about helping people land a job at Facebook or the Google in the world?" And I'm here thinking to myself, well, just so happened that everyone's coming to me is interviewing at Amazon. So I'm pushing it back to my buddies and basically say, hey, why don't you guys show me more job openings that's relevant to my audience, which is primarily in the tech space, right? A lot of the folks who land in a job offer don't need to come from another tech companies. They need to have very strong self-driven self-motivator, having the ability to think very big and diving deep. I know it's starting to sound like the Amazon 14 leadership principle, right? That is why I am such a big fan in talking about the Amazon leadership principle and combining that with the star method and twisting it into my version. And a lot of you guys who's watching right now know that I am hounding you every single time in your ability to articulate your stories and keeping it relevant and the right environment or level for those employer that I've just mentioned has to do with the leadership principle in thinking big, right? Also using the star method in being concise to the point and how you deliver business impact, guys. Okay. If you don't have examples with a good ROI, which is return on investment, no one's going to hire you. Even customer service, warehouse associates. I'm talking about even entry level position, campus recruiter. What am I talking about? Campus hire. It doesn't matter what position. Every single one of your example has to be around that. But for today's sake, I wanted to spend the first 10 minutes to talk to you about networking strategies so that you can land job interview invites from all the employers that I just talked to you about. Okay. I did a test here by posting video content on my YouTube. By the way, this is my number 3. It's called Networking During COVID-19. And not a lot of people search for it, not a lot of people ask for it. So I just, for fun, just for kicks and giggles, I made a post on my Discord, my coaching cohort for my VIP and Start interviewed members. I basically said, let me know A, when you hear the word networking, are you freak out? Or B, or are you excited? Give me some emoji or some sign. I know that when it comes to networking and just reaching out to complete stranger, by the way, you don't ask them for a job. All right. You do not ask people for a job when you cold turkey reach out to people. And how do you really personalize your message? A lot of people, even though you're not responding to me, or maybe you are, I don't know if you're telling me or telling yourself the truth. I've done the same thing on my LinkedIn post where I generally get a lot of interactions. Okay. I generally would get thousands and even like 5,000, 10,000 views on my LinkedIn post when it comes to interviewing tips for Amazon. It's really interesting of what our algorithm and analytics are telling me. No one cares about searching for jobs using LinkedIn. Guys, I have the entire playlist for over a year now, and no one really looked at it. Could you believe it? I only have maybe about 300 to 400 people who looked at those playlists. But from the moment I started talking about Amazon, that's it. Just the word Amazon, I get, I think my worst, absolute worst first video of Amazon had 225,000 views. I'm not kidding you. The worst video. And I don't even think it was that great, to be honest. But people want to search for things that they think would add value. But guys, what you don't understand is in order for you to pass or land a job interviewed at Amazon, at whatever company you choose, don't just pigeonhole yourself in one company. You shouldn't be. Okay. So let's talk about networking. Let's hold hands and zen for a second. Where's my tea here? I'm having some very exciting ginger tea with turmeric this morning because I know that a lot of people, I read all of your messages. My team and I have spent hours and hours reading through all of the messages. And this is why every Tuesday, I want, depending on your request, is what I talked about, by the way. And everyone is asking me to help them land a job on Amazon. So here it is, guys. This is for you. First, let's just say that for those of you who know what I'm talking about, the power of LinkedIn, do I even have that playlist? This one right here. If you know what I'm talking about with this playlist, can you please say yes, LinkedIn? Just give me yes, LinkedIn on there. LinkedIn has been undervalued. There's no love for LinkedIn. It is the best tools, the best platform. Why? Because by now I can't remember the statistic. I'm assuming that the number should quadruple, if not double, right? Because it is the pandemic and everyone is online. Everybody out of nowhere created a LinkedIn profile. You're not behind the 8 ball. I'll teach you how to network to build up your network. But the number one mistake that you do not have job interview invite from any employer, not to say Amazon, and the number one mistake why you fail your Amazon job interview or any other company, basically the number one biggest mistake is in your branding before you even message anybody. Because put yourself in the person you wanted to network perspective. When you reach out to them, the first thing they're going to look at is, well, even before your message, they want to click to see if you're someone interested enough. If I'm the hiring manager, what you should be reaching out to potential hiring managers, right? When you do that, even if they don't have an open position now, you better bet they'll be having positions, especially when you're reaching out to folks at big players like not just Amazon, like Netflix, Twitter, Facebook, Google, Apple. I can go on and on and on. They're going to have open position, and Q1 is around the corner. Yes, there are a lot of employer who are trimming down on the hiring and getting ready for Q1. But as we all know, they are going to have leftover position and they're going to have a huge budget to stack the entire year of 2021. You see where I'm going at? So, your message and your ability to personalize your message is critical. Let me repeat myself one more time. Your ability to personalize for the life of you is extremely highly important. Okay. If you're going to reach out to yourself, I want you to ask yourself this, and this is basic 101. Why are you reaching out to yourself? Should you be interested in hiring with someone with your background? Why? Right? So if I'm reaching out to you and I'm asking for a job, you're not going to respond to me because 1,000 or by now probably 500,000 people are doing the exact same thing. You don't want to waste the hiring authority's time. Versus I've trained every single person in my VIP coaching because it truly is an office hour. We talk about networking, we talk about branding, we do mock interview office hour, we do everything. Okay. And I talked a lot about the strategies around what is special about the person you wanted to reach out to? What stood out to you about their background? The one thing to avoid is there's no appropriate way for me to say it. So I'm just going to say it like it is, ass kissing. Do not mention things and praise them of the role that they have because most likely they've worked for, 10 years or even 15 years to get to the position that they are, especially with a FANG company. What is FANG company? FANG companies are basically top tier tech company that's being recognized by the industry leader. Basically, all of the names that I've just mentioned, including Netflix and Twitter. Okay, those are FANG companies. So you need to really personalize. And I have an example for that, guys. I have an example for every single thing in this playlist, which is called networking during COVID-19. Okay. So I would really appreciate it if you can show me where you're stuck at, where you're struggling at, why you're not getting job interviewed. And for those who have a job interviewed, I want you, before you ask me interview questions on Amazon, we know how this live stream is going down because someone is always going to ask me about interview tips at Amazon, which is great. But let's take a step back for a moment here. Your interview on Amazon, awesome. I want you to evaluate your own branding because the first thing they're going to look at is the what? Your LinkedIn profile. Everything I'm talking about today goes back to your LinkedIn. Okay. I have the entire playlist of LinkedIn, the power of LinkedIn. You need to really look at it. You need to really learn all my top tools and strategies in how you can pick up by location down to the organization, down to the hiring authority. Many of you are going to ask me this question, so let me save your time from asking me, Holly, how do I know if they have open position? It's not relevant. It doesn't matter because all the goal here is for them to read and click, for them to read your message and respond to you. One of my newest VIP member, let's call him S. Okay. So S came to my life literally like a few days ago. It's very impressive. And I made a post on my cohort community, my coaching platform, and I said, here are my spreadsheet in everything from examples and messages and how you all should network. And he followed it to a T. And guess what? And this is someone that have failed. And basically, when they came to me, they have already failed numbers of time for at Amazon, at Google, and all these companies, right? He reached out for a senior manager at Amazon. And guess what? The manager responded to him almost immediately. And the manager also forwarded his information and tagged his recruiter. And now my VIP member has a pending recruiter call with the recruiter at AWS. Do you guys see where I'm going? It works. I've helped again and again and again so many people from manufacturing background, from construction background, with no tech background. I'm not even talking about people who came from Microsoft and want to work for the Google in the world. They don't even come from those companies. Okay? So it has worked. Personalize your message, please, and make it very brief to the point. I talk about this several times in the last 3 months. I want you to go and look for my networking and LinkedIn playlist and look at the timestamp. What is a timestamp? Timestamp means you click on it. It is a couple minutes tutorial, get in and get out. Get what you want, okay? But you have to implement. You cannot, I have a rule here. My rule of thumb is for anyone who even make it to any of my coaching platform, that is no excuses. Holly, I'm too busy with my full-time job. I don't have time to network. Well, you're probably going to be stuck at the job that you are not fulfilled and why you want to reach out to me. You're lacking career growth. I hear you. I hear you right here. You know, you're not being treated like you should in promoting to the next level. I get it. You're probably not in the right role while you're at it. I'm really lacking a lot of guidance in even internally promoting within Amazon, which I have helped four of those individuals in the last month. Okay, all day long. It doesn't matter if you're internal employees, external employees wanting to get into any of those external companies that I've just mentioned. It is the same process. It also doesn't matter if you are a new grad, if you're looking for an intern, if you're a mid-level or an executive. It is the same process. Don't be afraid. Like my son tells me, it's okay, mama. Don't be afraid. So don't be afraid, guys. Don't be afraid. Your goal is to get at the bare minimum 30% response rate. What does that mean, professional? If you guys are reaching out to 10 people to network, I want 3 of those to come back with some sort of excitement where they're interested to learn more about you. Okay? Don't start asking about a job. Don't do any of that. Simply just reach out. For example, I came across your profile. I know that you've been at Amazon in AWS payment services for the last 5 years as a director. It's very interesting with your career growth from ABC and billing these. I have the same relevant experience in the technologies, but I'm really curious to learn more on how an individual with your background in an ABC project be very, very specific. Always be specific when you reach out to folks, and it's all about them, not about you. Okay. When you reach out to people, they want to know what kind of homework you've done on them before they respond to you. If it's all about me, I saw your job description. No, they are not going to respond to you because that's what the recruiter is there for, to wash out all of those. They call them spam because they're simply very busy and they don't have time to do it. So when you're going to reach out to someone, tell them that you came across their name from a conference, from a blog. Oh, I saw your blog when you are vacationing in Bangkok and while you are a solution architect for the startup company. It's very intriguing how you are now a hiring leader for Amazon and ABC. Tell a story and let them know the hard work that you have done, that you didn't just send them a message and that took you 30 seconds. Kabish? I think you guys got my point here. Okay? So, if you guys want me to help you in answering all of your questions, if you are excited for this live stream, please say, yes, I'm ready to start. You know, I love my star and some thumbs up. Thank you very much for the 59 people who's watching. If you're new to my channel, please do say new right here on the bottom. If you haven't already, don't wait. Subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification. So when I do come on live, that's what the 3-minute clock ticking is for, so YouTube can remind you that I'm coming on live. Would really appreciate that we can trick the algorithm together so YouTube can help me promote my live stream as I'm doing it for you guys twice a week, Tuesdays and Friday. Okay? Hello, hello. Okay, I wanted to say hi to everyone that is here. RP, how are you, RP? Leo or Leonardo, we reviewed your LinkedIn profile last week. Hopefully that had answered all of your questions. Deboya, I think you are new. Yay! Welcome to my community, my humble community. Excellent. Andrea, good to see you. You made it. Catherine. Welcome, Kath. Thank you. See, I love this community. You guys are also helping me in welcoming new community into my show. So thank you very much. Bev, hello, hello. Always good to see you. By the way, for some reason, I'm looking at both monitor here, and there is a delay on my second monitor. If it is, please do let me know. You guys know how anal I am, making sure the Wi-Fi are syncing with our comments in real time. Okay. Thank you so much for joining my YouTube Pay member, Ashley Kinsley. Catherine, thank you for being the newest member. Actually, there's a couple. There's an Ash and there's an Ashley. Welcome, Clip. Welcome. Bear in the Wild. Welcome back. Every Tuesday and Friday, you never miss. I love it. Okay. I am looking specifically for questions. David, thanks for responding to my LinkedIn message. I did. Oh, yes, I did. So, in full disclosure, because I have such a huge delay on responding to LinkedIn. That is because a lot of members have reached out to me regarding my private coaching, which is really filled up and they have to go through an application. Even so, I'm about a month behind in reviewing those because once you start working with myself and my team, we pour all of our heart into making sure that the result is there. So that's why we're taking high quality time or sweet time, I should say, in reading everything through before responding to you and making sure that when we do respond to you, it's relevant to your question. Okay. So oftentimes, if you don't get me, it will be my team member, or I pretty much call them my team of COO because without my team, I won't be here today. Okay. So for all you leaders who's watching right now, you are as good as the people you hired. David, welcome. I'm glad we were able to answer your question. Max, hello, Max. How are you? Rolly, elbow cough. Thank you so much for your elbow cough here. My stuff is acting a little bit weird today. Here you go. I hope Christmas present is a gift offer. Wink, wink. Hello, S. Hello. I was just talking about you. How funny that you're here. I did, yeah. Welcome back. By the way, it's called Bias for Action for those who actually show up on just my stream alone, my Tuesday and also my Friday stream. 150 of you actually landed a job offer. I started the Tuesday stream about 7 months ago. Basically, from the moment the virus was announced at the end of February, I myself and my family, which is my son and I, have went through a lot during the last 6 months, but I never stopped streaming because many of you are really seeking help. And a lot of those individuals, I'm talking about thousands out of those thousands who are showing up, like literally looking through all of my content, are at Amazon right now. Because I've created a private Facebook group for all of those who landed a job offer there. And I housed them there so they could collaborate and help each other as they're starting their day one at Amazon. Okay. So it is true. It does work, but I would advise everyone who does show up to have a list of questions that you are struggling with where I can help you. Okay. It's like showing up to a class. You want to be able to walk out of the class in learning something. All right. Fadrigo. Hello, Fadrigo. Chander. Missed you last week. Catherine, I believe you have a job interviewed. I can't remember. I believe it's consumer electronic. I can't remember if it's for Kindle or Alexa. Let me know how that goes. Christian, you came back for more. Hello, hello to you. Andrea Torres, your first time connecting live. I love you. Well, I appreciate you. If you guys don't show up, or at least one of you guys show up, I will still be here every single week for you. I was listening one of them now. I got my phone interview Amazon last Friday for senior HRA in New York City. Awesome. Make sure you check out my questions and answer. There are quite a few folks on my YouTube who are, I call them drive-by or just drive-by folks who search for what they need and then they leave, right? A lot of them are basically scolding me and saying, Holly, in your Amazon leadership principle, where example? Why don't you ever talk about example? Because guys, if I do everything in one video, you're not going to watch a 10-hour video, which is why this playlist, ooh, I'm not sure why it's not working right now, guys, which is why I've created a playlist for every single thing. And you're able um, to go through by simply looking for Amazon leadership principle questions and answer. Okay, star method question, and answer. Basically, if you looked at playlists by simply going to playlists, I think I should show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay. If you are simply just looking at that, hang on, right here. Okay. If you're simply looking at this, let me fancy up a little bit for you guys here. If you go to my right here, right? You see this big giant button right here. Let me make it bigger for you guys, okay? This big giant button here that says playlist. All you have to do is hit playlist. That's it, okay? That's how simple. So before you start yelling at me or leaving me such comments, it is right here, guys. LinkedIn networking, boom. This, when people are complaining about no answers to any of the leadership principles or questions that I've made, it's right here, guys, beautifully for you by simply clicking that. And when you do, look at this, the entire playlist is right here. Okay. So that is really my whole point and that I wanted to broadcast for you at the moment. All right. I hope that answers your question. New York Ashuro, hello. How are you? Cyrus Virus says, "Can you review my LinkedIn live? I can, but not in this session. That is my Friday session. So if you haven't already, you can click the button join on the bottom. My Friday session is where I do all of the live reviewed, including your LinkedIn, your resume, whatever is it that you wanted me to review. Basically, a lot of my live webinars and tutorial are all going to be there. It will be Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And there's always a link on there for you as well. Okay? Cerise says, I have my phone interview with the recruiter for an open position. The recruiter didn't specify which one. Feeling prepared. Well, a lot of the time when the recruiter can't specify is because they're probably waiting for the hiring managers to talk about where your background may be a good fit. It could also be the fact that in looking at your credential, they're not really sure what is a good fit. That's probably why you're having a call with the recruiter. Okay. So the bottom line is you need to make sure very clearly understanding what you are looking for and what you're bringing on the table. For example, you should at the bare minimum have 2 points of the most innovative thing that you've done and your ability to scale at scale. Okay? There's no more than just that. Even if the recruiter or myself were to ask you one simple questions to walk me through a project, it doesn't matter. If you are tech, non-tech, executive, new grad, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a story, right? You need to be able to intelligently walk the interviewer of any kind through an example, a specific example on how you're able to build something from scratch and watching it go live in a clear story in less than 1 minute. Yes, we have a lot of uh, debate on this is in my group coaching. You mean my star interview accelerator, where um, a bar raiser friend of him basically said, I'm a bar raiser at Amazon, and it's impossible to answer a question within 1 minute. That's incorrect. You can certainly go past a minute, but it's got to be really exciting because a human being's attention span is very short. I notice. I've had my own business for over a year now. Okay. And when I look at the 15 or 20 people in my group coaching community, people will start yawning and falling asleep if you go past 30 seconds and your story is not compelling. Okay. And when we did reverse mock interview, which is I will repeat everything that you're telling me in your 2 minutes in my 45 seconds, suddenly they came alive. So it's all about how you articulate your story and storytelling. It does happen, but you need to make sure that you guys are sticking to relevancy. Okay. Give me a second here. I wanted to make sure that I am going back to my live screen because I've shared my screen with you a little bit earlier. There you go. I'm back. Okay. So make sure you stay to the fact with specific example. Beth says, oh, you're interviewing on Facebook next month. Yay. What can you tell me about the product sense and execution interview? By the way, Facebook recruiters and recruiting leader at Facebook, I know that some of you, hint, hint, have reached out to me lately. If you are here, reach out to me. I would love a collaboration to bring a Facebook recruiter or somebody in the hiring management position, because I want that person to be able to jump on my live stream like this. By the way, all of my collaboration stream will be on the Friday session. Okay. All you have to do is click the join button in any of my video to do so. Facebook love, Facebook or not, right? Everybody love specific example. If you're interviewing for a product role, you need to have a lot of specific example that are product related. What does that mean? It's your ability to handle product execution. Who were your customers, internal and or external, and how do you deliver results, and what is your strategies behind that, right? Especially with big organization, because I've worked for all of them. They're really interested in your level of depth and your level of breadth in knowing the product and how you are able to generate revenue for the organizations. How, if you are a people manager, because I know you've done that before, I'm not sure if this is an individual contributor or a leadership role. You just need to make sure that you understand your background well enough around the product. Okay. And everything we talk about in my top pick behavioral questions for Amazon, yes, that absolutely come in handy, because about a few weeks ago, I helped one of the senior engineering leader at Amazon, who's also a bar raiser, by the way. He is now at Facebook as an engineering leader. And guess what? Still the STAR methods, still the behavioral questions, and yes, still the same format of making his LinkedIn profile stood out in landing a job interview at Facebook. Okay, so the process is exactly the same thing. And Brett, you're ready. Um, you have a very cool way of articulating your story. You're very personable, and Facebook would appreciate that, because Facebook is a social network company who appreciate in um, casual polish but casual conversation. You can absolutely speak to 1 minute, but again, you have to pay attention to eye contact, because everything is virtual right now. And I advise in so many of my live stream to use Zoom recording to make sure that you're comfortable around the camera. Okay, it's very hard because you have no body gesture. You don't know if someone's interested or not, but you have to look at the camera. Look at the camera and you can glance down to see if they're excited about your answer or not, and quickly ask the interviewer, was I able to answer your questions around product? Okay, so you have to throw it back at them, and it's okay to check in just to make sure that your questions are being answered. The interview process at Facebook is actually very fast. If they like a candidate, they should be able to move with a candidate anywhere between, I wanted to say 3 weeks is the average time frame at Facebook. Bear in the why. I I don't want to bother people. Freaked out. I don't want to bother. Why are you freaked out, Bear in the wow? Are you talking about freaking out because of networking and you're afraid to bother people? Listen, if you don't network, which means you're not increasing your chances of expanding your network with the right, right employer, the right professional in the same industry. Okay, I know many of you doesn't come from a brand name tech company. In fact, I wanted to say all of you right now who are on here are not brand name company. How do I know this? Because 80% of you are already in my coaching community. Okay, so you have to. It's not about bothering them. You have to personalize every single message, and you have to make it as a full-time job. I'm being very serious. Looking for the right career move itself is a full-time job. I've trained my members in the coaching community, and by the way, I'm not hiding anything or holding anything for you guys. There's nothing different. They know because they're the same people. They're right here. Okay. You have to, let's just say that you start work at what? 9 a.m. in the morning. Great. Get up at 7 a.m. in the morning and get your coffee, exercise, do whatever you need, make your breakfast, Dedicate 1 hour every single morning and dedicate 1 hour to 2 hour at the end of the evening after you have dinner with your family or whomever that may be. You have to treat it with a lot of effort. Okay. Or on the weekend, let's just say that you are extremely busy with your day job on the weekend. Okay. Spend 8 hours on the weekend. Yes, I said 8 hours because being able to create at least 15 to 20 stories alone is going to take you 2 to 3 weeks. Now, my recommendation is recording yourself, correct? At 50 times. Every single person who landed a job offer out of my community have recorded themselves 50 to 80 times. True story. Let's carry on. No need to be freaked out. No need. Susanya, how are you? Ashley, how are you? Welcome back. My first loop yesterday at Amazon. Woohoo! Any feedback that you can give everyone who is listening right now? I know that you are interviewing and being considered for a level 7 position, which is very high. A level 7 at Amazon is relevant to a director at the Facebook and Google. Okay. Everything, every single thing was so important to follow and to listen. Awesome. Let me know the end result of that. Hi, Miss Mountain Dew. Miss Mountain Dew says, for networking, some VP director just wanted to know what you want from them. The replies I got are ones that I asked about position, so shouldn't we just ask about the job? Here's the thing. When you reach out to people, if the director or VP level respond to you and basically said, what can I do for you? That is a great opportunity for you to say, I'm reaching out to you because A, I really admire your background. I want to be in your position one day. Be very raw and honest with them, right? I came across this position ABC at Amazon, and I know that you have already been there. Any coaching or any mentorship that you can provide to me would be greatly appreciative. So you wanted to be humane and have a real conversation. It's awesome that you get responses from executive who are very direct and actually respond to you. Kudos to you. It's actually a good thing, okay? Now that you have a response from them, you have to respond to what do you want from them, but also what are they getting from you in return. People generally don't want to just help you and direct you and give you net and forward to recruiters because remember, they have a lot of messages like yours, okay? Another important thing is I mentioned this in the very first 10 minutes of this live stream. You don't want to say, I want a job from you. You know, I wanted to respond to this inquiry because you don't know if that's a hiring manager. Sure, it may and may not be because big companies are really big. For example, a business analyst is across all of the thousands of projects at Amazon. I know this as a fact because Amazon acquires startups like every single week. True story. Okay. So, congratulations. You've done a really good job with the response ratio. You have to be aggressive, but at the aggressive meaning having a routine in how many people you reach out to and keep that momentum up. Do not let the momentum fall apart. That's when demotivation starts. That's when you start having self doubt. If they don't respond to you, you know exactly what my tip and strategies are, specifically if you're already in my coaching community, which is VIP in this case. Okay? Good job. I don't think you mentioned about this in the cohort. Congratulations, Miss Mountain Dew. Sneaky you. Luciana, hello. Good to see you. Yes, LinkedIn. It's all about LinkedIn, guy. It's all about networking. If you already have an interview with Amazon, you still need to network, by the way. Okay. What if that one position you're interviewing with doesn't work out? And now what? You have to start from the very beginning all over again. Okay. This is an amazing time to network. And guys, you have a great excuse, which is the holiday is around the corner. Go follow up, especially in your second follow up. Wish them a happy holiday. Why not do that? Why not? Okay. I should have a shirt that says "Why not." Seriously, many people are freaked out. I've had feedback from my coaching member that says, I'm really bored. I don't want to do this. Yeah, because you want to work for the top tier tech companies. It's going to require a lot of hard work. And if you don't force yourself to do what you don't like, you won't get it. Just like live streaming for you guys. I pray to dear God every time before a live stream because being in front of the camera makes me extremely uncomfortable because I'm staring at my lens as we speak. Okay? I'm still doing it because I have a lot of content to share with you and I enjoy hanging out to help people land a job and put food on the table while doing the things that they are very excited about. That's why I'm doing this. I could do this. You guys could do it on LinkedIn. It's much easier than turning on the camera lens. Trust me on that. Federico, do you have any advice on how to best prepare for case study presentation for Amazon's interview for an account manager role for advertising? When you say case study, can you be a little bit more specific? Are you talking about your Amazon writing exercise? What are you referring to? I need a little bit more meat on that. Okay? In general, case study or not, I would still recommend thinking about the STAR method. Can I please have some star here, please? Can somebody please give me some star? This playlist right here are all the examples on how I'm able to critique my questions and answer, by the way, along with this one, which is my star templates. Even if you take a look at all of those for Drigo, you can get an idea of how star works. If you're doing presentation on a case study, before you do your presentation, you should write it out in the way you wanted to present it, right? So if you're thinking about the STAR method, what do you want to talk about? What is about your presentation, which is your STAR, your situation? Your task is what problem are you trying to solve in your case study? And why? And ask yourself this, why did you choose that specific example? Because the problem you're trying to solve have to pretty much be relevant as far as the scope and the scale. Why is that one so important? And your action plan, what did you do to solve this challenge for whatever your situation is? Okay. And of course, your end result is your business impact. How were you able to impact or solve this problem? That's what I'm trying to say, guys. At the end of the day, I've recently interviewed a former Amazon product leader, a level 7 as well. And he said to me, he said, Holly, I know you talk a lot about the STAR method, but I think the bottom line is they just need to be very clear in the problem they're solving and how they do it with specific example. That is true. That is true. That is easy for an Amazonian because we have been there for years and we know we mold around working backward at Amazon. But what about all of those who's never even worked for tech companies? Right? That's why the STAR method is so powerful, guys, because if you never, ever, ever work for a fast paced tech environment or any fast paced environment, and my apologies, I can only talk about Amazon because that is the fastest moving company I work for. You just don't know the expectation and the type of answer they want. If I were to coach you and I were to say, hey, you know, Hassan or Daniel or Luciana or Ashley and all of you guys, all of the 62 people who's watching right now, very simple, guys. The way you're going to pass a job interview is tell me what problem you're solving and be specific and what is your business impact. The first thing that all of you guys are going to do is scratch your head and say, what on earth are you talking about, Holly? Right? But if I were to say, hey guys, by the way, take a look at my example that I have already given you 10 examples and answer in holding your hand and walking you through how to answer and tackle those problems that you're about to solve. And by the way, here's a link to everything and here's a playlist to everything. And by the way, let's come on for a live section where I can also help you review your stories. Okay. That's when you're ready. Because I believe after doing this, at least in the last year or so, and I'm being very, very honest with you guys, if you combine all the ones that are my private coaching, my masterclass, my Star Interview Accelerator, and my VIP coaching, there's over 30 people. There's over 30 people that I have helped or more. I haven't count them lately or more. And we're talking about in the last 6 months this year. Okay. And if you include the ones who actually follow everything that I just said in watching my playlist on my YouTube, there are so many of them that I stopped counting. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. For anyone who wanted to argue with me that keeping your story in 45-second or 1 minute does not work, I prove you wrong. Sure, it actually does work. You can go and give a 2, 3 minute answer, it works, but you have to be very connected with the interviewer. Right? It has to be very engaging, like playing ping pong. You answer the questions, you ask qualifying question, it goes back and forth. You need to be extremely engaged, and bravo to you if you can do it in a couple of minutes. If not, you can't pass an interview because they will be so bored out of their mind and waiting to see how you're able to solve the problem. Okay. That's why I talk so much about the STAR method that has proven to have so many people land a job offer. In this case, 90% at Amazon. Hi, Hassan. LinkedIn. Awesome. 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 Hassan says, how long will it take to be a level 5 from a level 4? I'm a front end engineer. We have an Amazonian in the house. Woohoo. Okay, let me have a sip of my tea here, okay? I would love to have a different channel if that's called Amazonian. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. So, this is a trick question. Here's the answer, and I'm going to give you an indirect answer because it all has to do with your result. That's how Amazon work. To get promoted at Amazon from a 4 to 5 can happen within 1 year, or it could happen within 3 years, or it can never happens, right? The quickest I've seen any promotion is in within a year and a half because of the promotion cycle, okay? You have to wait for the promotion cycle. So generally it's between a year and a half from a 4 to a 5, depending on what you have built, what you have done. Okay. For example, Amazon is not a company that, in comparison to, let's just say, Facebook or Google, a lot of the top tier tech companies, it doesn't really lean on your pure feedback or feedback from other people or what do people think about you. Amazon is a company less about what people think about you. Yes, of course they do care, but more about what have you done? What is your production value? What have you done as a level 5? Okay. I don't know what project you're working on, but as a front end engineer, how many products and services have you built in that 1 year? Okay. The product and services you built in 1 year, how many users were you able to influence? I'm thinking about millions at this point. Okay. And how many products or how many of those did you own versus sharing it with other folks? By Amazon, you really don't share a project. You really take full ownership, even as a level 4. Okay. I would highly advise for you to have a conversation with your direct manager and say, hey, Mr. Mrs. Manager, in your one on one, if you don't have a one on one, you should have a regular bi weekly one on one if you're interested to get promoted. You simply just say, hey, manager, here's the list, and always come prepared. By the way, help them. Help them understand that you're dead serious in this promotion. This is what I'm working on right now. Do you think this is aligned to an IC5? Can we work on a strategy to get me from a 4 to a 5? And if your manager says, I'm not really sure, which they should be sure. If they're not, they should work on a plan to get you there, maybe adding you with a higher scope to get you to that level. Do you see where I'm going? This is not just for Amazon. This is for any company, guys. If you're interested to be promoted internally, you have to hold your own manager accountable. When I was a people manager, my team member doesn't have to ask me for a promotion, although some of them really nag to be promoted every single one on one. But as a manager, it's good to have that initial conversation and ask your direct what is their goal in the next year or two. Not to say 5, just year or two. And if they are interested to move to a different level, so on and so forth, there's got to be a strategy. Not all managers have those experiences, so you have to train them. All right. Hey, Daniel. If I've answered your question, Hassan, please give me a thumbs up in the video or give me a star. I am the girl who really appreciates some star. At the moment, I appreciate some hot coffee and not tea. Thank you for the star, D. Boyle and Nicole. Daniel says, I've been interviewing at Microsoft for principal engineer position. Does Microsoft differ from Amazon for interview? Absolutely. There's always going to be a style of differentiation between the two. Okay. You just have to, and also your recruiter prep is completely different depending on how good and how diligent the recruiter is. Amazon love having conversations and storytelling. Again, I would still keep it within a minute. You can go to a minute at Microsoft, but everything that I'm trying to tell you guys, you still need specific example. Everything that I've just talked about. Okay, Daniel, give me a thumbs up. Let me know I've answered your question, because a lot of my member right now, you know who you are, no name. You are interviewing at Amazon. You're interviewing at Microsoft. You're interviewing at Google. A lot of my coaching community are interviewing with all of those companies all at once. There is a big companies, big companies, big difference. Microsoft, however, I do want to mention, they still ask questions such as how many windows are in Seattle? That's a Microsoft question. Okay. I don't know if they're still doing that, but if you even do a quick search on our bestfriendgoogle.com, you can tell the type of questions that Microsoft ask. The bottom line is they're going to ask you a time where you disagree with your manager or peer. They're going to ask you a time to walk them through the most challenging project that you've solved. Sound familiar? They're all Amazon behavioral top questions. So one way or another, professionals, companies are going to ask the same questions 10 different times. Okay? Good luck to you, Daniel. Let me know how that goes. SH, welcome, being the newest support member. Yay! I'm not sure why, but there you go. Delay reaction, but welcome. Chandler says, any recommendations to find who the hiring managers are? Are you talking about a position that you are already interviewing, or you're applying for a job and who the hiring managers are? If that is the case, all you have to do is put the hiring manager's position as your networking, right? Chandra, I'm not sure what role you're applying for, but let's just say you're an account manager. So if I am doing a search on LinkedIn, I simply wanted to put senior manager for account manager business development at AWS, and you will see a list of people that are on there. I would be very careful in who you reach out to. This is not a numbers game. This is a quality game. You have to make sure you're not only personalizing your message, but why are you reaching out to them? And do you have any correlation in relevancy between your background and theirs? And don't just reach out asking for a job. I know I have to repeat myself for about 10 times, because so many of you, even some in my coaching community, that are still doing the same thing. Do not ask them for a job and have your follow-up email to still ask for a job. They're never going to respond to you. They're not, because everyone is doing the same thing. And you better bet, professionals, hiring authority, which is anyone with a management, director, VP, seniors, you guys get where I'm going, right? All of the people manager are paying attention on your ability to think big and the type of creativity when you reach out to them. You know they're thinking about that when they're reading your message, okay? Mina says, I was rejected from Amazon for a business intelligence role 1.5 months ago. They reached out to me regarding data business analysts, and I nailed the coding behavioral questions. Will the previous rejection affect this one? I would say all of your interview for not Amazon, but any company, because they're in the system forever with a lot of the players. Yes, hiring managers, recruiters, basically the team, do reread your previous interview to see where's your strength, where's your weaknesses, basically where are some of the components that you're lacking. If you fell a business intelligence role, most likely it requires some level of coding or scripting languages. As a business analyst, it require really not a whole lot. Maybe SQL, but not a whole lot. Okay, so there's a big difference between the two roles, although I do see similarity. Okay, if I were you, I would think about the areas where you fell short 1.5 months ago, and you're not trying to improve your coding there. I don't think it's qualified for business analyst position, but you wanted to be able to do well should the same questions come up again. And there's a likelihood it would be. Thank you so much for the thumbs up and the star, Luciana. Antonio is new. There's a lot of new. Can we please welcome all the new folks? Antonio is new. Andrea is new. Boyolza, did I pronounce your nickname correctly? Is new. Elizabeth is new. Welcome to my channel. This is the channel where I answer all of your career related questions. I'm not an Amazon coach, I'm a career coach. Okay. I get a lot of fun and joy when your question is harder and tougher for me, also including career transition. I'm so excited because lately I have folks who are Amazonian and Googlers. They're internal employee who comes into my channel and asks me for tips in how they could get promoted. I love that stuff. Folks who I have coached and walked them through contractors at all of the companies that I've just mentioned, including Apple, and they end up letting an FTE, full-time opportunity with those tech companies. Okay. So this is not just an interview tip for Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. Faith, welcome. You're also new. Circus Virus, welcome. Elizabeth says, I watch a few VOD. Is that video previously to, I'm not really sure what VOD means. Lawn Zoo, new to the community. Welcome. I love new member. If you guys, you guys are here, have been with me for the last few months. When I look at my analytics every single month, still like 95 to 97% of the people who are subscriber, they are not watching my channel. I'm just going to assume that a lot of people, once they land a job offer, they go away, but they refer a lot of their friends to me. Thank you very much. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's really powerful for content creator because it really helps my channel grow in attracting the right audience. In my case, my audience are those who are interested in landing a position with high-tech companies. Same strategies. It doesn't change. Catherine says, you've been so proud with Star. I had pages and pages of handwritten story for my business interview, and now I'm moving forward to the loop interview. Awesome. Catherine, I remember you reaching out to me when you mentioned that you have your initial phone interview. That was just a few weeks ago. Congratulations. Sounds like you're doing really well. Salvan from Paris. Right on. I'm so glad to find you for my job interview at Amazon. That's awesome. I remember during that time when the Paris office was starting to, what did they call it? Putting the seats together to open the Kindle organization in Paris. I was with them. That was about 7 years ago. It's a long time ago. I'm so happy to learn that office specifically. It's growing. Jose. Hey, Jose. I'm preparing for my phone interview next Friday. Let me make it a little smaller for you guys, okay? Preparing for my phone interview, should I answer behavioral questions on specific details of describing big picture of the result? Some have been complex. That's an excellent question, Jose. Now, again, a lot of the people will give you questions that's very different. Bar Racer at Amazon will give you very different than mine. And please do note, guys, that everything I'm sharing with you is just my entire background working for those organizations, specifically at Amazon, where I spent over 6 years in. I know what works. So I'm giving you advice on I know what works, because if you're talking to, for example, an engineering manager who's a bar raiser, is going to give you things that are different versus like a program manager, bar raiser versus a recruiter. You see where I'm going? Because their background is very different. I just happen to come from a recruiter, a hiring manager, because I've hired a team, a trainer I taught even prior to them, before they become bar racer. Everybody have to take my class before they can interview and have shadowers to interview you guys. Okay. So it's very, very different. So I would highly advise for all of you guys to look at content. I'm not the only content creator out there, and you guys know that. Okay. I am generously, I can't talk right now, offering everything I know on the table, but I do advise you to look at all the other creators as well and find what works for you. Okay? Because everyone is very different. And what I'm sharing with you, Jose, for you specifically is when here's the thing, when I'm struggling a little bit with these questions because my buddies who are BR basically just say, Holly, yeah, make sure you prep your folks who think with the big picture, being able to dive very, very deep with a lot of example and this and that. And the cow comes home, you see jumping over the moon, you see where I'm going? And I'm like, but their questions will be 10 minutes long. Yeah, they need to answer the question. So I have learned that a lot of my even bar racers that I have known personally are very long-winded. They're excellent interviewer, but if they were to interview for like a Facebook or Amazon, a lot of them have also came to me. Okay. And I have, because they are great interviewing you, they haven't been interviewed for so long, they've also lost touch. Okay. So that's why um, I'm still going to recommend big picture to me is called being concise. Big picture to me, the definition of that is staying large scale and scope to the point. You need to have the breadth and the depth. Debt. No, you don't. You don't have debt. Depth. Okay, and you can do all of that in less than a minute. I would still advise you to do so. The big picture is good. That's your situation. What do you want to talk about? Right after when you talk about the big picture and the problem you're trying to solve, right? With any kind of picture, big or small, what problem are you solving? And when as soon as you give the problem you're trying to solve, cut all the middle stuff that people don't care about. How did you solve the problem? That's why I'm still talking about the star method. Can I please get a star on the very bottom because it is all about eat, sleep, star, wake up, eat, sleep, star. Again, eat, sleep, star. I'm so adamant because of every single person who have interviewed and I've seen the companies that are able to land a job offer, even construction program manager guys with no tech experience, even with no networking infrastructure experience, are able to land offer. They're also in my private group for Amazonians. Even like manufacturing, aerospace, government, they all are at Amazon doing the exact same thing. And if government worker, let's just be honest, if someone from the government background and construction can keep their message in less than a minute and are at Amazon, you guys can do it. Peace. Andrea, I got my interview at Amazon last Friday for Senior SRA Fulfillment Center. It went well. Any recommendation for interview questions? That is on the list that I just show everybody. Okay, it's on my playlist. Go back up to it and watch it. I would really recommend watching every single Amazon playlist if you really are dead serious in acing your interview. Even if you're interviewing at Amazon and you wanted to apply to like a Facebook, you still have to read everything because it teaches you how to the definition of customer obsession and really frame all of your questions around how you deliver results. Okay? Anuruk, hello. I know you joined 3 weeks ago. Welcome back. That's a good question, Anuruk. Our friend says, is Amazon interviewed a video or just audio without seeing each other? Well, that's a good question. For technical phone interview, I've heard some technical phone interviewer do it on video, and I've heard some doing it on audio, right? Last week, the last 2 weeks, in fact, I've talked a lot about recording yourself via Zoom so you guys can get comfortable. You guys can get very, very comfortable in recording yourself on video. For the longest time, guys, since February, I have a checklist on. It's called video interviewed. You could actually look at that video. It's called video interview. You can't miss it. Okay. I also have a playlist for that as well. I have a playlist for everything. Read the content so I'm not being redundant in repeating myself. Cliff says, if you have a phone interview coming up, is it okay to reach out to the interviewer LinkedIn prior to the interview? I will not recommend that because they're really busy. They don't, and also it's going to eliminate any biases. Which is also why when recruiter are sending you the template of who you are interviewing with, they don't include last name. Generally, it's first name and the position title, because they don't want you looking up. The number one common thing is candidates will say, "Hey, they spend the first half an hour, by the way. Oh yeah, you and I are connecting on LinkedIn. By the way, we know Joe Schmo from ABC Company." It's just a waste of the interviewer time. When you are interviewing with any interviewer in any company, they wanted to stay on target, because 45 minutes to an hour will go by very, very fast. So you are more than happy, and I would highly encourage you to LinkedIn with them after the interview, but not before the interview. However, if you're looking at different content creator, they may say the complete opposite. Okay, do whatever you guys want with a grain of salt. I have been a hiring manager before. I was bombarded with a bunch of recruiter reaching out to me. I don't just add people to my LinkedIn network. I add people, in this case, my ideal customer that I can help. When I was a recruiter or recruiting leader at Amazon or all these companies, still the same thing. I am only interested in connecting with people that I can add value to and can also add value to me. If not, LinkedIn will only allow 30, I believe, 30,000 connection, and I don't want to max out my connection with professional that I'm never even going to have any conversations with. So to me, that doesn't make sense. Okay, that's just a little back end about how LinkedIn works. Umar, hi Umar. Umar says, I only have 1 year of experience to feel my story are not as good for SDE1. Umar, I've helped a lot of the people who land SDE1 position by doing every single thing I just mentioned. How are you? My longtime supporter. Thanks for coming back. Boyza says, I have my second phone interview next week. During the first interview was a peer position. Then I'm applying for senior vendor manager. What is your question? Now on Monday is the GM and category head. Does this mean that I'm being considered for a higher position? Well, it's kind of hard to say without looking at your credential and knowing more about your background. Um, I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't pay attention to the level that you're interviewing for at Amazon, because if anything, Amazon does a very good job in leveling. I can't talk. I need my coffee. Can you tell? So tea is absolutely not working for me. So it is really cool to have the right leveling based on how well you do in the interview process and the example that you're able to persuade during the interview for the interviewer. Okay. So Amazon does a very good job in evaluating your background. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Luciana says, I've applied to several positions within Amazon and never got contacted. What am I doing wrong? Well, a lot of people who apply at Amazon, and I don't know anyone who apply a job at Amazon that actually hear back from Amazon, because they have a million applicants applying to Amazon. That's the problem. That's why I talked so much about, sure, if you really want to apply to a job, you can, but your application will sit there in the system. It's going to help the recruiter when they're not reviewing all the applicants. No one has time to. They'll select all and probably reject everyone. Okay. So versus a good recruiter would call what is called searching for you by your areas of expertise in your position title or your background. And then your resume will show up. You can absolutely apply to a position, but I would not apply for more than 3 positions for the same role across different team. Again, network, network, network. Can I please have a network on the very bottom? Just put LinkedIn network for me. And also, the 63 of you who are still watching, and if you are enjoying, unless you're a robot, okay? Unless you're a bot and you just wanted to check in and see how I run my live stream, give me a thumbs up in the video, because there are half of you who have not. And if I have not answered your question, you're sitting patiently in the background. All you have to do is drop your questions here and create a name. You can call yourself whatever you want to, and nobody will know you and be able to find you. Okay? I want to know how I'm doing if a bunch of people are watching, right? Ashley says, So specific, you think when specific in your prep, get another two-layer deeper, specific, specific, specific. It is key. Get specific, get to the point. When you give specific answer, you should be able to answer your question very quickly. Yeah? Susanya. Hi, Susanya. Mr. G. How are you, Mr. G? Mr. G says, I am new here. You're doing great. Do you help folks land job only at FANG companies? Well, that's a great question. If you follow every single thing of my coaching for FANG company, if you can follow my tip and land a job at the FANG company, you can get a job at any company, including the post office, including startups. It doesn't matter what company. Okay. All the companies really care of your ability to articulate what you have done. And that's what my teaching is about. I talk a lot about FANG because that's 90% of my entire background in the last 9 years. Okay. I'm really passionate of tech because I even got a degree in tech. I just love to talk about tech, but you can certainly use my teaching for any company. It's really funny, guys, because so many of you reach out to me and said, Holly, I know that you're an Amazon coach. Are you a career coach? Can you help me get a job at PayPal? Can you help me? By the way, that person got a job at PayPal already. Can you help me get a job at Oracle? Can you help me get a job at Expedia? So on and so forth. I'm like, well, I'm a career coach. That's what we do. A career coach coaches you and will teach you all of the techniques in branding yourself. At least I do. Branding yourself correctly, identifying what is the vision that you have, that you understand. Also, do you have the interviewing skills to to present your storytelling? And are you able to articulate in your communication style for all of those employers? It doesn't matter which employer, right? Also, once you get there, do you know the foundation in negotiating for your salary? What about career transitions? How would you transition from, let's just say, a program manager to a technical program manager? So, a career coach and a career strategist are not speaking the same language, as well as an interview coach. Please do not call me an interview coach. I'm not an interview coach. I can do interview coach because I am in recruiting, just like how a recruiter does not make an interview coach. There's good recruiter, bad recruiter, just like there's good career coaches and ones that don't really have relevant experiences. Okay. So for you to find out, when you guys are reaching out to coaches, the first thing that I would advise for you to do is look at their LinkedIn profile. Do you guys see how passionate I am about branding and LinkedIn? You have to, because you have to see, is your coach that you are paying for, investing your time for, even watching the content, came from the environment that you want to be in, right? Can they speak with relevant and hands-on experience before they're giving tips to you? Now, it may make sense to some and it may not. What I'm sharing you right now may not make sense for some Amazonian who's never done any of the stuff that I am within the same organization. But I tell you this though, the STAR method does not go wrong. It just doesn't. It has worked. It has helped nearly 200 people from the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm going to continue doing it. But for 2021, guys, I'm going to start talking about Facebook, Apple, and Google, because I do think that those organizations deserve some love as well as Amazon. That's right, Amazon. Don't freak out. I'm still going to answer your question, but I will start talking about the differentiation between all of the FANG companies. They, um, Hanu says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Did you guys see my virtual present right here? That I could look. It's real. My son, my 3-year-old, actually helped me wrap all of them. I told him it was very hard to stop removing. These are actually all of his toys. Hello, hello. David says, is an hour formal interview more technical? First of all, you're never going to have a technical interview for the entire hour. Usually it's about half an hour of about 2, 3 at the most, depending on how you're able to solve the questions. If your technical skill is strong, they may just spend the rest of that in diving deeper with your thought process. This case, behavioral question. Okay. Um, And I have asked all of my folks who are currently at Amazon, it's 30% technical and 70% behavioral. 70%, guys. New York Ashuro from Hawaii. Welcome from Hawaii. Let me make this a little bit shorter. There you go. Been trying to get remote program management job with Amazon. No luck yet. Well, let me ask you this, New York Oshoro. Have you been just applying correctly? Did you network? Let me know on the bottom. How many people have you guys been networking? Put the number on the bottom. Say network and give me the number. I've just signed up for LinkedIn. When you say you've signed up for LinkedIn, you mean to create a LinkedIn profile or do you mean LinkedIn Premium? There's two different things. Setting it up, haven't job seek for years, so thank you for all your insight. That's excellent. Thank you for being brave and being vulnerable in sharing your current situation. You really do wanted to watch this playlist right here. Okay, I would highly recommend that for you, New York Oshoro, because this playlist is teaching you how to create your LinkedIn profile before you even start networking. And even if you do, there's a template in there for everything for you as well. Okay. Luciana says, my networking message don't work. I'm here to learn from you. Luciana, all you have to do is to show up on my Friday section. So for the Friday sections, I wanted to focus on also reviewing your LinkedIn messages as well. So all you have to do is copy and paste and just drop it in the chat. And I'm more than happy to give you feedback. So note, everybody, for my Friday session, starting this Friday, it will only be pay YouTube member at a very, very expensive price of $3.99 a month for you guys. Okay. MLP. Hello, MLP. Today I got a message from the recruiter. Okay. The position interviewed me for is closed after giving 5 rounds of interview. Now again, they decide to allocate to another position. That's very, very common. And I do hear that from a couple of my clients, even ones who landed a job offer, 2 of them in a matter of fact, end up being filled internally. I don't know how that happens. Basically, they were told that they have a job offer. The job offer is going through the approval process for a month, and then the position got filled internally. But they continue to follow up with the hiring managers, hiring team, and the recruiter, and now they're both Amazonians. You see where I'm going? So you cannot, I know that it's very demotivating. Professionals, I know, I feel your pain. Trust me, I feel you, but you cannot allow your example to demotivate you because from the moment, I promise you, from the moment you feel a sense of demotivation and you are lacking inspiration, you're not going to be able to pass a job interview because it shows on your face because everything is virtual right now and it shows on your tone. Okay. So you need to continue pumping yourself in networking. If you are interested and dead on Amazon, go for it. Network within Amazon, but also outside of Amazon. Okay. Use your network, my friend. Use people that you know that can help refer you into those teams. And I talk a lot about this in my networking playlist. You guys just have to look into that. You may be a good fit for other roles and not just that one specific position. So you need to really look at that. Okay. Hey, Nicole, how are you? How are you today? Patricia says, how many questions can we be expected to ask per interview in final round? Well, each interview or final round or first round or any round, they generally ask you guys about 3 to 4 questions. Sometimes they may just ask you one question. And let me explain what I mean by that. And I've done this personally as well. And I've said in a table debrief where we talk about the experience with the entire hiring team of our experience interviewing with you. We talk about the pros and cons, of course. For example, I'm not sure what you're interviewing for. By the way, if you guys have questions, if you could please remind me the position that you're interviewing for and what team, that would really help me out to give you relevant feedback and answer. Okay. For example, if you are a software development engineer, developer, I'm only going to ask you one question, and that is, can you please walk me through your highest level of achievement in how you're able to solve the most complex problem? That's it. I'm only going to ask you one question depending on your answer. If I feel like you can't answer that, I'll ask you an additional 3 to 4 more different questions, because what I'm trying to get at, what would you consider your proudest project or the largest problem you've solved? It's allowing me to know, do you have the scope? Do you have the scale? If you do, I will hone into that. Now I'm ready to peel the layers of onions. Star methods, right? Yes, I do teach that for all of the interviewers at Amazon, which is peeling layers of onions. You know, when you have achieved your result, can you walk me through specifically how you're able to do so? I can ask you 5 questions based out of the one questions I just asked you. Okay, that's why keeping your answers short within 1 minute, it's allowing me time to ask you probing questions and furthermore. Okay, welcome so much for being a new member. Yay! By the way, as a new YouTube community member, I hope to see you on Friday. The Friday stream, usually the audience are folks who's interviewing for level 6 or leadership position at Amazon. Again, guys, any company, please do show up if you're interviewing for a senior level or executive position with any company, including startup. Okay, this is not just for Amazon. Della, how are things going with you, my friend? Hi, Nee. I'm going to pick on someone new now, okay? Paolo. Hello, Paolo Spalutini. Next week, I'm having my interview as head of marketing. Any clue where I can find marketing related questions? First of all, Paolo, you see this list of questions right here? Okay. And also the list of questions right here, my playlist of questions and example. My friend, you need to be able to answer all of that, because as you're answering all of my top behavioral questions from Amazon, by the way, it's forcing you to think outside of the box with your experiences, which is in marketing. Okay. So focus on that and just focus on that, and you will be able to ace your interview. You need to be able to watch my playlist. Everything that I have already told you guys, nothing is new. Lori, welcome, Lori. Thank you for being a new member as well. Circus virus. When you had 8 jobs or more, can you pitch your diversity? What do you mean by that? Um, Are you asking for how do you diversify if you have more than 8 positions? It's all about tell me about yourself and your added value. Without looking at your credential and knowing nothing about you, it's kind of hard for me to just throw something out there at you. Okay? So consider joining my Friday session where I can review your LinkedIn and have a glimpse of who you are and how I can help you. By the way, for those who are really shy, who wants more of my time, not just my Friday session in reviewing your LinkedIn profile or your stories, there's also my VIP office hour, which is a monthly office hour where we're very interactive on a daily basis with 2 weekly office hour. And we focus a lot of that purely on mock interview. I'm stuck. Can you guys tell I need some coffee? Can I please get some coffee emoji up in here? Because the girl is dying. Can you tell by my level of energy without any coffee this morning? Ginger tea is supposed to be very good for your immune system with everything that's going on with COVID in the world. And it is 48 degree and wintertime for the next 9 months in Seattle. It's not working. I'm back to coffee right after this section. MLP. Have I answered your questions, MLP? Because your question is, and if I don't answer your question, that is because I'm literally answering the same questions for everything, MLP. Okay. It is the position when you mentioned the position is closed and whatnot. And by the way, if you want me to answer your questions quicker, you can super chat me. It will show up right away for me by clicking the super chat button, or you can click the join button to become a member of my YouTube community, where there is a emoji next to you, like Bear in the Wild. Yours says sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep, star. So after you've been with my paid community for a month, every single month, the emoji changes. I'm trying to make it fun for you guys to be a little bit different. So that's where my attention is going through. Everyone is important to me. So please do not repeat your questions over and over again. That's really spamming the rest of the folks. Okay? You have to dive deep in every single story and exactly everything that I've just mentioned. Well, you're welcome. Yeah, and I'm talking about you as well. No name, Circus Virus. Please do not repeat your questions, okay? Thank you so much for the star. The star woke me up. Star is more powerful to me than coffee itself, because when you give me things like star, guys, it's allowing me to know that you're paying attention when I mentioned the star method. Because literally everyone who's been able to land a job offer are using the star method. Not my star method. It is my extremely short version of how you can twist the star method for your answer. Okay? Sudhi, you welcome. Of course. Bear in the Wild. I don't think I've answered any of your question yet. I'm still struggling to get my answer down to under 1 minute. Well, Bear in the Wild, my friend, you've been with me for a very, very long time. Um, the my VIP membership right now is going through a special holiday price right now until January 1st. If you want to be part of my weekly office hour or in my cohort, this will be the best time to join. But to do so, why don't you reach out to me on LinkedIn and put Bear in the Wild on the top, because my friend, I can't remember your real name because I have a lot of nickname on here, as you can see. Okay. If you're truly struggling and it's been months already, maybe that is the time. Because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the folks who came to me have already failed the Amazon job interview 3 to 4 times. True story. They spent about 2.5, 3 months with me, and that same individual who failed the job interview, let's call him G. G landed an offer, not just a level 5 that he failed for a time, he landed a level 6. Actually, last week was his job offer. And he is now an Amazonian waiting for his start date. You see where I'm going? So I just wanted to make sure that as I'm taking new community member, you guys have to really show me that you're willing to work hard, because it doesn't work unless you work hard. That is true. I can't get the job for you, but I will be sure, and I'll do every single thing to make sure you're acing that interview. I'm looking for database solution architect. Not sure if preparation focus should be more on technical or behavioral. You should do both. If you're a solution architect, you have to look for what type of technical questions the job description is calling for. But I would say 30-70, because 70% of those are behavioral questions. If you fail your behavioral questions, and I do know community member who have done so well in technical and disregard my behavioral questions that I've just shown you guys the list like 3 times in this live stream, they did not get selected. And the feedback from the recruiter, Chander, specifically is you have excel in technical, but however, you're not able to articulate your answer in tackling behavioral questions. So the ability to think big and dive deep was not there. Mary, hello. Sometime I wish I were a robot. Life would be so much easier. My friend, if I was a robot, my robot would be responding to all of your messages on LinkedIn and throughout social media. Pie Wish. Hello, Pie Wish. Just dropping in to say hello. Hello to you. Shiva, look at this star. This is a superstar right here. Yay, star. Hi, Tony. You welcome, Shiva. SJ, can't wait to apply for PM positions soon. Now, remember, guys, you could certainly apply to a position, but oh, my camera just stopped working. No worry. Plan B is coming. Let me go ahead and enable my other camera. Plan B is here. Da da da. You see that? This is my plan B. My light source is a little bit off right now, but let me do my best. There you go. That should work. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what is going on, but my camera is acting up. But hey, that is what Plan B is for. Catherine, do you recommend breaking up the loop into 2 days? This is a good question right here, guys. Catherine says, well, it's all up to you when it comes to the loop. For me, personal preference, I want to get it done and over with. That's just me. Okay. The fact that you have interview and you build up the momentum, I just wanted to get it done. It's up to you if you wanted to break it up in 2 days, but I don't like things to be dragged out. I would rather just really get it over with. Okay. Nicholas says, I've had my first interview and I will have to follow up with HR manager. I've checked the leadership principle and prepare some situation following star. I'm so happy when I see the word star. What about lead role situation? I'm a deaf. Well, when it comes to that, you have to look at people leadership type of question. Okay. If you take a look at my Amazon leadership principle playlist, it's a wiki. Don't yell at me. Someone's going to yell at me and say, Holly, you didn't give me an example. That's what I was talking about, that playlist. It's truly a wiki. But if you look at the wiki, I gave you 2 questions for people manager or lead, 2 questions for individual contributor. Okay. So if you look at those questions, jot down the questions. I also talk about expectations per each and every single one of those LP in what type of question that you should be coming out of in answering. Okay. So you have to look at the playlist. I'm telling you guys right now, it doesn't even matter what your questions are. If you look at the content that's already there, everything literally Amazon, it will answer all of your questions. Daniel says, is the interview process longer than 6 weeks? It really depends, Daniel. It depends on how good your recruiter is, how diligent that person is moving you along the process, and how quickly the hiring team accepts the invite and who's on vacation. Because we're talking about the time where a lot of the folks are going on vacation. By the way, if you guys can see me okay, can you please say yes, I can see you, or give me a thumbs up, because I've just switched camera number 2, which is my webcam, by the way. Just wanted to make sure that you guys are still with me. Okay. Tony says, I landed a position. Oh, you landed a position at Amazon for data engineer. Yay. I was just browsing through all the video and trying to formulate and approach the interview, finish prep and interview in a week. Landed a position. Oh, okay. Awesome. Congratulations. I hate networking. Bear in the Wild, I'm looking right at you, Bear in the Wild, okay? You just have to do it. You have to, okay? Networking is really hard, but if you guys don't network, you'll just be applying to job like the millions and millions of people right there right now. I'm not saying to not apply to job, but you shouldn't spend all your effort in just applying to jobs. Because if I'm truly interested in your background and you have applied to 100 position, that could lose the interest of the recruiter and also the hiring manager, right? No one, the hiring team is not going to logically say, yeah, Bear in a While applied to 200 position because obviously they want to get their feet back in the door and they want to work for Amazon. No, they don't think that way. Okay. They're so busy with whatever their task is on day to day, especially working at an Amazon tech environment. They don't think beyond that. So again, you have to network. And if you are struggling and whatnot, give me specific questions and where you fall short on the Friday session, and I'm more than happy to help you. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon here, and I'm really picking on those that I haven't helped yet. Thank you so much for the coffee, Luciana. Faith. I have my 3-hour, 45-minute interview this Friday. Oh, excuse me, this Friday for a case management position in HR. Since I don't have much time, which video preparation do you suggest? I talked a lot about this video right here, which is Amazon Star Interviewed, and also right here, because I'm actually walking you through every single example with answer. Honestly, guys, if you guys are not ready and you're rushing through, you should probably push your interviewed for a couple weeks later after the holidays. If you end up having a position that is already filled, that's better than not making it through the position, right? That's the best advice I can give you. Okay. Sava says, should one reach out to all the panel interviewed after the on-site loop basically on LinkedIn, or is this too much? No, you can. After the interviewed, if I were you, I would stay in touch with the hiring loop as well as the recruiter. Your job is to expand your LinkedIn network with those who can hire you in 2021, right? So it's good to make sure that you are looking very carefully, thanking their time, wishing them a happy holiday. Fatima, hello, Fatima. Talking about um a Google recruit, Google, Facebook, and former Amazon as well. Fatima and I have worked with each other for over a decade, and she's coming by to say hello to show Facebook that there are some love out there. I promised her I will start talking about Facebook. That's what I will be doing in 2021. Okay. So if you guys are looking for more of collaboration with more honing in to specific questions, I am going to start bringing in guest speaker, but I don't want to waste your time. So I wanted to know, what are you guys searching for? I know that everyone care about Amazon only and only Amazon because they're the one employer that has a lot of open positions. But again, guys, I'm encouraging you to look at other opportunities as well. Okay. I'm going to wrap up with one final questions from Mr. G. Mr. G, what is really working at Amazon? I have heard stuff where you end up working more than 10 hours each day. Oh, this is a great way to wrap up the session. Any pointer to decide if Amazon is the right company to apply for? Excellent. I'm so glad that you're asking me this question. First, have you seen my Why Amazon video? I was being very transparent. I also mentioned this in one of my previous stream, and that is Amazon or not, if you want to work for a tech organization, I don't know anyone that works 8 hours a day. I honestly do not know any. I've worked for I work for Google. I work for Facebook, which by the way, spoil the employees rotten, which means free food, free perk. Well, no one's in the office at the moment. Free healthcare. You guys know where I'm going. I work really long hours. I probably work about 65 hours, 70 hours at Google because I'm very obsessed in delivering results and I wanted to do the best that I can. I've worked the same amount of hour at Facebook because I care about my work, and you have to keep up. There's just a lot of work to be done. And I've also worked for Amazon where I worked a lot longer hour because the responsibility and scope were so much more at Amazon. At Amazon, I would say my average is 70 hours a week. True story. I can't really remember a weekend during my time at Amazon where I do not work. Not a single weekend. Again, I'm going to be very, very clear with you guys. None of my previous manager or stakeholders or anyone asked me to work the hours that I did. I simply do it because I'm extremely obsessed. It is still a weakness of mine for customers. I like to deliver result. I don't like to disappoint my team because I was a people manager. I've had a team of 12 to 15 for a very long time in a lot of these companies. I have serviced a very large group of business stakeholder, right? They need to fill positions. So what do? I want to make sure that my customers, hiring executives are taken care of. Why? Because if I don't take care of them, you guys won't have the product and services or gadget that you play with. I've actually had it over here. Hang on one second. Well, this is the time that I am hoping that the Fatima and Facebook folks are watching. This is my Oculus Quest 2. This is why I'm so obsessed, guys, because I am obsessed when I work for an organization. I love the products. That's why I work for it, because I'm excited to see what new things that they come out of. And no one asked me to work the long hours. I just wanted to. Okay. Now, if you guys ask another person who worked like an Amazon or a Facebook, someone may probably say I work 8 hours or 6 hours a day. It depends. It depends on who you ask. I'm just a very obsessive person who are so focused and result driven. That's just who I am, and I still am. Okay. Again, thank you so much for spending your Tuesday evening with me. 12:30 Pacific Standard every week for this free live coaching. And if you are my paid YouTube member for all of my tutorial and more of helping you create better storytelling, Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have an amazing rest of the week. I will see you on Friday.